Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and we're here with my daily driver, my 1975 XJ6. Being in 1975, at least where I live now, if I go and get inspected now, it will be for life, or over in the UK you call it MOT exempt. So it's 50 years here where I live, and that's what we're going to do today. I have a time booked later in the afternoon. I just pulled it in here last night. It's been sitting outside in the cold, unused since the MOT ran out in the beginning of September. And for those of you who follow the channel, you know I've been under the weather for about a month, starting to feel better now, and that's why I just haven't had the time or energy to take this to the station. It doesn't need much, but we're going to do it really quickly today. But since I'm trying to still get better, I want to pull into the warm workshop and have it sit here overnight so everything is nice and warm to the touch. What it needs is just all the leaves and stuff. If you're wondering, it has been sitting outside. Well, yeah, it needs, I think we have a couple lights. I think I replaced one brake light. I think the other brake light's out now, so we'll have a look at that. I've seen one side marker was out when I pulled it in. We'll have a look at that and just go through lights. Wipers work, horn works, all of that runs great. Will need a service before winter. Oil's getting a little dark, but I don't have a filter at the moment. I've ordered one, so I'll do that later. It's not going to hurt it. We're going to check the fuel filters in the back that I installed actually in the summer, and I've checked them a couple times. They still look really clean, but we'll double check those. And then the parking brake is actually the only issue. It works, however, it doesn't really return too well. And I think the issue is the parking brake cable goes inside, a sheet of plastic back there. And I think I've got some underseal in there, and it just doesn't want to slide that well. So I think we'll put some lubricant in there, pull it back and forth, and we should get that up and running. Otherwise, new alternator still working really well. You saw it fired up outside and ran here into the shop. So let's go do the lights first, easy things, and then we'll make sure that everything works. There's washers and everything. We're a little low on washer fluid, fill that up, and just go through everything, and then in a couple hours we'll take it for its probable last inspection. Let us turn on the lights and see what works and what doesn't. So low beam there, low beam there. We do have a side light there. So we're missing a side light over here. Let's check main beams. And we're missing a main beam over there. So let's see if it's bulbs or if it's just simple electrical issue. Let's start with the side light down here. Should just be a screw over here. And there it is. It feels pretty stuck in there. That could just be some corrosion, or it's actually broken, but there we go. Alright, broke the light. Okay, I think we're going to need some tools and a bit of penetrating fluid to get that out, and then we definitely need a light. Let's see. What? Alright, has someone soldered an earth lead onto the light? Yeah. Okay, so I think what we're going to do, I'm going to dig through my parts pile. I think I have a whole housing, and I think we need to replace it because That doesn't look that great. So they soldered an earth cable onto there because this earth point is ruined there. And everything looks really nasty and green inside. Let me go through my parts, see if I got one. And then if I do, we'll replace it. Otherwise, I think we'll have to botch it again. We have some options and none of them are great. So the only spare one I have, unfortunately, is for the other side. Which, you see those glasses from here. So you see the difference is this turns up and this turns a little bit down. However, this might fit in a pinch. And then I can try and get hold of one. And then I'll have to use a glass and everything. It would look a little silly. But, yeah. Or, we try and recreate this bodge for now. And then I'll still try and find one. So that means getting the positive cable out. There. Getting the soldering iron out. Soldering that to there. That to there. Putting it together and it works. Not a bodge I like, but I think we're going to do that for now. Because I think it's going to be quicker and easier than getting these rusty screws out and figuring it all out. The only thing we're going to do is we'll grab a multimeter. We'll make sure there's power on there before we continue. And then we'll move on. Get the soldering iron out, get that warmed up, clean this off, get this bulb in place. And then make a mental note that I need a left-hand side one of these. This cable just ended up being really green and there was a bad connection here. So I've cut it all the way back and the repair is actually good. Battery's a little low, only at 11.3. So getting 11.2 out here isn't bad. I'm going to make up a new cable to go through here. I think in the bench, I will solder that onto the light. And then we'll do the last soldering over here. And hopefully it all works. New built cable soldered onto the positive side of the bulb. We'll feed that through. And then we'll cut that back a little bit more and see if we get a better connection. Otherwise, I mean, we were getting a connection and it's a side light. Plus, this is all highly temporary. Let's take a bit of solder, using a little bit thicker stuff here. And I have my iron set to, well, it's pretty high. It's like 390, 400 degrees Celsius. And we'll see. This might not want to take any. I mean, there is flux in this cable, in this solder. Otherwise, we'll have to use a little bit extra flux, I think. Let me go get that. Might not make a difference. I might just have to replace that cable, but since this is just a temporary thing, I'm trying not to spend too much time on it. Alright, we're cleaning it up at least here, and we're starting to take a little bit. There we go. It's taking it now. Alright, let's try on here. Might as well. start by heating up this area a bit. When you have solder on the edge tip here, it does help with speeding up, heating up something. Trying to be careful here just because I don't want to ruin the bulb. So this might not be the best connection in the whole world, but I don't know how much I can heat up a light bulb. Sort of. Come on. This was supposed to be an easy fix. Replace a bulb, clean some connections, not fix someone else's bodge. But that's been working though. I haven't had any issues until now. When the light burned out like a month ago maybe. But like I said, I haven't been using the car. Oh, this is no fun. Technically, we could have driven to the station like this, because something small like a burnt out bulb is an advisory and you get 30 days to fix it and you don't have to come back. It's just your own responsibility to fix it. But I wanted to try at least and get a clean bit of paper on the last inspection of this car. This is really not. Let me continue to fight this and I'll update you guys when it's all back together. So, a couple attempts and it's in place now. I end up sanding the area using more flux and then it's stuck. Probably not the greatest connection, but once it's all jammed in there, should be pretty good. It's really hot now. Hopefully I did not damage the bulb. Let that cool down a little bit and connect this up, and hopefully brake light is not as big of an issue. And wouldn't you know it, it actually works. All back together now. I'm going to quickly check the main beam up front here, see what's going on there, and then we'll move on to the brake light. A moment of truth. Side lights on, headlights, main beams. Yeah, we got it all. It's just a dirty connection over there and a bit of bodging on this side, but same as before. Let us move on to the back and figure out which brake light isn't working. Since I'm alone here, we're going to use the garage door as a reflective surface. And see if I can just hit the brake pedal and figure out which side doesn't light up. So they both work? Thought I had one out. Both of those. Alright, all seems to work. That's one less thing to have a look at. I have the back of the car up in the air now, and I tried lubricating both ends of the cable, and it's better, but if you see here, if I manually pull it, you see, sorry, it's difficult to film and do this at the same time. If I manually pull it, it doesn't really want to go back. So I'm going to loosen the cable and both ends, get out, and let's see if I can move it back and forth and get it working better, sort of half outside the car. The real issue seems to be that some under seal has gotten in here, I think, and I've moved it back and forth now. I know this looks weird, but now it does slide really nicely, and sprayed various lubricants in there. At some point we'll need a new cable, but I think for now that is good enough. We'll put it back on. All the return springs in the back are good. So we'll put this back on and we'll see how it works. Guess what? I'd say that works really well now. So time to put the car back on the ground, and I'm going to go through it again, but I think we've done everything it needs. When I checked the oil earlier, I saw it needed a little bit of a top up. This engine is usually pretty good with oil. It used a little bit on that long trip where we kind of pushed it a lot, and we're doing a 10-hour drive in a day. And it used a little bit. And yeah, long highway drives it sometimes uses. And it leaks out the front seal just a tiny bit, which I may do someday. If you know these engines, it's not that fun. It's the whole front cover off and everything. So for now, but usually between oil changes, I have to fill up maybe like a liter with my normal driving. So that's not too bad. And also it's do an oil change before we put winter tires on it. Because if you haven't followed along before, I do drive this thing year round. So it's going to come in the workshop the next couple weeks or so, get winter tires, and just going to check some of the undo sealing. I checked right now, most of it's really good. I have a couple spots I want to do. Just some rust proofing action in the engine bay. But other than that, we're pretty good to go. Let's see. It takes forever to pour down in these engines, but I think we're good. We'll let it sit for a bit, and then I'll double check again before we drive off in a little bit. And let's just check coolant. Yeah, good level. Could put a little bit of washer fluid in it, so I'll do that. And then we'll pull it out, and I think we're ready to go to get inspected, which is good, because I think in like 15-20 minutes or so we actually do need to leave. Fired up pretty nicely there. On these AEDs, you really shouldn't touch the throttle first 30-40 seconds or so. It says so even in the owner's manual, because they always do run a little rich in the beginning, and then they reach the correct level. So we'll pull out. Also going to check the parking brake. Thought we'd engage that. That holds the car in gear. Put that back down. That rolls nicely. And here we go. Should be pretty ready to go now. That squeak need to address. It's a tensioner wheel for power steering belt. There's actually a place you can lube them up, so we're going to do that. It needs a wash badly, but since I'm just recovering from being sick, I'm not going to go out and do that in the cold. Maybe this weekend. But running nicely. There is a rattle inside one of the rear boxes, so I do want to replace that. But idling beautifully. Running here. Got good oil pressure. Parking brake warning light working. Smell a little bit burning off the exhaust. Did go pretty wild with different sprays and everything, trying to get everything working. But I'm gonna go change, and then we'll drive over and get inspected. Some moment of truth. Let's head on over there, and hopefully everything goes well. But really, if there's something small, it's not really that big of a deal. You get 30 days to fix it and come back, but it would be nice not to have to. We're going to talk a little about the whole, some countries have MOT inspection, whatever you want to call it, but they have exceptions, like we talked about earlier, for older cars, and I can kind of understand it and also not. So for instance, this is the second car I have that will be MOT exempt if everything goes well today. The other one being my 1972 Rover P6. And then I have 2 other 1975 cars, and some other ones that are pretty soon gonna, all turn 50. However, even if they are that old, I think I'm still gonna bring it back, depending on how much I drive it, once a year, every 2 years, and just have them check it out. Because yes, I run the shop, yes, I'm a mechanic and fix things, but you can always miss things. And it's nice to have someone double check things, such as brakes. I've looked them over now. There's plenty of pad material and everything. Everything looks good. However, I don't have like a rolling brake test road that they do. So it's cheap insurance, just because in the end, it is your responsibility that the car that you drive on the road, on public roads, that it works as it should. Yes, I sometimes drive cars from, will it run videos. Those are on private roads around my house. Like this right here is a private road. And yeah, now we just left it. Now we're on public roads. So there is that sort of thing to consider. Anyways, drive over there, see how it does. Fingers crossed. But it feels good to be back driving it. I've been driving the Range Rover, and I do love the Range Rover. And also, I haven't been driving that much because I've been sick. But when I have, I've driven that, and absolutely lovely. And it's going to be great when it's really snowy and cold outside. It has a heated steering wheel, heated seats, and all that. But just sheer driving pressure, I do prefer my old XJ6. All right, so they're going on to the brake tester for a rolling road over there. Behind that, they check for emissions. They usually take it for a little drive up here, and then they go inside, put on a lift, and check everything underneath. Well, we have the results here, and guess it passed with no advisories, no issues, and they were actually quite impressed. They've known the car for as long as I've had it, and I stop by sometimes when it's really close to the place I do my shopping, and they're just impressed that it gets driven year round and it looks so good and it's so solid. So the rust proofing I'm doing is definitely working. So nothing really wrong with it. And yeah, gave it a good bill of health. Parking brake worked, the lights worked, everything worked as it should. So really, really happy about that, and happy to be out driving the XJ6 again. And I talked to him about the whole, exception thing after being old, and they think it's a really good idea. Like I think to still come back every year, every 2 years, depending on how much you drive. At least here, it's a bit of a smaller fee, and if you fail, it doesn't go on the record of the car or anything. It's more just, they look it over, they tell you, well, your brakes aren't even or anything. I had perfectly even brakes. So that was really, really nice. Now, it is Friday afternoon, and I am going to surprise the kids by going to pick them up. My wife usually does, but this car has been off the road due to the MOT or inspection had expired, and I was sick. So they've asked for at least the last 3 or 4 weeks when we're going to drive the green XJ6 again. So I haven't really told them that I was going to fix all this today. So this will be a good surprise. Running a tiny bit late, but should be able to get there in time to school, pick them up, and then we're going to enjoy the weekend. Anyways, I want to thank you so much for watching, and I know it's been a little bit of a break with videos, but I hope you understand that I've been rather sick. But now after some antibiotics, I'm finally starting to feel better, and we should get some videos out there. I really do need to both, work on customer cars and put some videos out there for you guys, which, is entertainment, but it's also part of my paycheck. So, give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't caught up on any of the previous ones, please do have a look around. There's a lot of fun videos, and the previous one on getting the XJS going, it's been really popular so far, so thank you so much for watching that. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.